Hello, everyone. It is time for your shadow reading today. I have my deck out that is perfect for reading our shadow side. It is the Black Tarot. The Black Tarot, and this is the box that it comes in. And I just thought it was perfect for looking into the shadow side of ourselves, the shadow side of our twin. You and your twin have a bond and a link at the level of the soul. And so your shadows and their shadows are a reflection of each other because you are essentially one and the same, right? You are connected. Your twin flame and you are part of the same blueprint, the same source. You come from that same monadic egg, right? The singularity, the split into duality. So we're going to start today with, now remember, this is a reading that is for both you and for your twin flame. So this reading, some parts of it might apply to both of you. Some parts of it might apply more to your twin flame's situation. And some parts of it might apply only to yours. You need to use your own discernment and look at it through presence of mind and mindfulness, and without judgment and without ego, without pride. Okay, so look at it and see, when you see something that is a reflection or seems to line up more with what's going on with your divine masculine, ask yourself, well, how does this apply to me as well? Because if it applies to them, on some level, it also applies to you and vice versa. So look at the links between your life situations as far as how this reading lines up with both of your 3D stories. So what is needed for, what do you and your divine masculine need to accept? What is needed between you two in order to be able to accept the situation between the two of you? All right. Something new, a new start, a new project, a new angle, a new perspective. Not looking at things through the old lens, but instead looking at through a creative and new eye. Now, there's a lot to this from what I can see, because this journey is all about the journey of awakening into self-remembrance, self-actualization, your soul, the rebirth, right? The rebirth, the resurrection of the soul in what different, cultures have called different things. But it's all the same thing, even though it's called by many different things. But you're waking up to the truth of who you are. And the truth of who you are is that you are a master creator. And you're self-actualizing into that. Think of this universe or university that we're in that we call life as a school for learning how to become the creator. You were created by your creator to be a creator in the creator's image, which means you follow the same laws and the same, how do I put this? The same universal laws that the creator does. And so when you are born into this world, you go through a period of time of not knowing who you are. You grow up, you're told who you are, you're told how to think, you're told how to act, what to do, how to be, what everything is called, what the meaning of all these different words are. And then nobody's ever taught you, though, that you're something much greater than that. And even in religion, where they do teach you that you have a soul, they still limit how much information is given to you about that. There's so much more to the fact that you are a soul than is being told out in the mainstream of the world, right? This is a process of self-discovery. It really can't be taught to you. I can't teach it to you. No master can teach it to you. No book can teach it to you. It's something that you are initiated into when you are ready by something much greater than our minds and our egos can understand. It's through the soul, it's through source, it's through God, it's through the creator of all things. And you're initiated into that waking up, that self-actualization or realization, into recognizing that you have power over the elements. You do. But and you always have, and you've always been creating your life, even if you were doing it through ignorance, because you were unaware of the natural laws. So waking up to this is what this is about. This is what it's going to take for you and Divine Masculine to be able to overcome and step into power and to create that inner union that is necessary in order for external union to take place. Okay, now do not make judgments on what external union or internal union mean. Rather, allow it to be revealed to you through this journey, through faith, and just trusting the process. Because the ego will try to judge it and analyze it and take control of this awakening process. But all the ego will do is get in the way and create resistance and stress and anxiety for you. So rather than do that, stay present and just allow the universe to reveal this process to you. And go along for the ride. Trust it, because it's going to pay off for you. It really is, I promise. All right, Divine Feminine. Let's see. What do you and your Divine Masculine need to forgive? So you need to accept, the process of inner union. And in order to accept the process of inner union, what are the things that you need to forgive? Really, forgiveness is transmutation. It's recognizing that, all things have value. Even these adversarial things in our life have value. Adversarial people, events, experiences that try us and don't feel very good, they have value. And when we recognize that they have value, we're able to forgive. Why? Because we see the higher purpose of it. We're not saying we condone the behavior ever, or we know right from wrong, right? However, we recognize that sometimes things like that show up for valuable reasons in order to teach us things or to set the stage for what really needs to take place, right? Sometimes it's the people who rise to the greatest heights have experienced the most, turmoil on the way up. So it's a refining process, right? We're all here going through a refining process. So what do you and or your Divine Masculine need to forgive? Cards are a little sticky. All right. And I put this card in the wrong spot. Silly me. All right. Page of Swords. There's been gossip. Some maybe some interfering, people judging, maybe you and your divine masculine judging each other, which is highly likely and very typical of the situation, because we're overcoming ego, we're overcoming pride, and our twin flames have a tendency to just trigger the heck out of us. And that's in order for us to be able to look at our triggers and recognize that our triggers are our own, and we're only able to be triggered by something outside of us if there's something in us already, right? And so if something outside of you seems to be the cause of something troubling you, it's probably some kind of an inner perception or belief system that's not serving you well that needs to be looked at. And so it seems like there's probably been some talking behind each other's back. There could be karmic people involved that are talking behind, the other person's back. There could be friends or family members that have been interfering in the relationship between the two of you, and really just creating a lot of unnecessary static and frustration and anxiety and judgment. So those are the things that need to be forgiven. Oftentimes we don't realize how a lot of our own actions are actually attracting things into our lives that we don't actually want. And some of these people, some of these experiences are happening because of some kind of a low vibrational energy that we're carrying around with us subconsciously, and we don't recognize that we're pulling it in towards us. It's showing up in our awareness in order to give us the opportunity to see it so that we can let things go that don't serve us well, so that these things that are not serving us well can fall out of our awareness, our existence, our life experiences. So forgiveness for those that have crossed boundaries, for those that have, spoken ill behind our backs, or who've, kind of created chaos through gossip and judgment and, strong opinions that were inaccurate. Forgiveness is for you, not for them. It's not because what they did was right or wrong. It's because you see now that it gave you an opportunity to see something in yourself that you could improve upon. And so you're thankful for the lesson, and you can forgive based upon that. But that doesn't mean that you're accepting or allowing or condoning being treated poorly. You never want to allow that, okay? You stand up for yourself, and, of course, stay in a do no harm mindset, but still stand up for yourself. But also forgive, because all these people that are doing this, they're in their ego. They're not at the same level of conscious awareness that you're at. And oftentimes that can be scary for these people, and it can trigger them. And then their egos kick in and they say things and do things that maybe later on, as their consciousness raises, they'll end up regretting, or they'll realize that they're just being judgmental. But you make sure that you don't become what you don't like. So don't become judgmental and, gossipy and unforgiving yourself, okay? See in others what you don't want to be, and don't let them pull you into their orbit and make you part of it. Instead, you stay in your own orbit, be that shining example that you are, and forgive, but that doesn't mean you forget, okay? What do you and your divine masculine need to release, divine feminine? What do you need to release? This card is oftentimes a card for leadership. Now, this could go two different ways. Maybe there are certain mentors, gurus, teachers, authority figures, parents that are not necessarily teaching you the healthiest things. You have to learn discernment. So you could find a teacher that, over here teaches you some wonderful things that are very useful, but over here they teach you some things that are not so great. That doesn't mean that the teacher wasn't valuable, but take what resonates and then throw the rest out, because we're all here learning together, and people are always going to show you a mixture of what you do and don't want, who you are and who you are not, right? And so both of those realities are always going to exist because we're all here in duality. So we are all those things, all mixed up in one thing. So have discernment with the leaders in your life, the people that you look up to. Recognize that there are parts that are very valuable to you, but that doesn't mean that everything about them is valuable. So don't follow blindly is what I see here. But I also see that maybe you and your divine masculine are being called to leadership. So letting go of some of the fears around stepping up and being, the center or being the leader, is, let go of the fears that have prevented you from being able to do that. There's probably something in you that has always sort of felt pulled toward that, but there's insecurities and fears that have held you back, or your divine masculine, or both of you, right? And so look at that. And if there are certain things that are causing you to not, become the best version of yourself, that are causing you to miss the bullseye, to miss the target, look at those things and let go of the things that are stopping you from being the best version of yourself, whether it's people, habits, addictions, anything like that, thought patterns, belief systems that are not really accurate or serving you well. Let go of those things and know yourself. Know what it is that you want so that you can really set a proper trajectory toward that and be that leader that you are. Lead yourself there, okay? Lead yourself there. What is it that you and divine masculine can learn from your situation and your relationship with each other? What is it that you guys can learn? Maybe there was some bad behavior that came out. Maybe there are some sexual things that need to be overcome and looked at, some insecurities and some fears between the two of you. There could be abandonment issues, when it comes to really connecting with someone like that on a physical level, a fear of abandonment, or, maybe there's certain experiences that one or both of you have had that have made it difficult for you to connect with other people on a mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual level. So what you guys can learn is from each other in this situation is, forgiveness, how to communicate. Communication is so incredibly important. I do believe that communication with twin flames can be tricky because sometimes, especially divine feminine, you understand this, divine masculine can completely cut that off. What I think is really important, normally in most situations, I'm like, communication is key. And it is. It really is. But if your divine masculine is completely refusing to talk to you, if they have ghosted you, if they, are very controlling in what they will and won't allow to be spoken about, if they, take off and then come back and then take off, or if they don't follow through with what they say they're going to do, it is so important for you, divine feminine, to have boundaries and to stick up for yourself. And that doesn't mean calling them up and telling them off and saying, blah, 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 you hurt my feelings. What that means is a firm line in the sand. If you don't show up for me in a way that's loving, kind, and respectful, and in a way that's in alignment with the kind of lifestyle that I want to live, twin flame or no twin flame, I'm cutting you off because my eye is on the bullseye, which is happiness. bliss and living my best life. And if anything's not in alignment with that, even if it's your twin flame, it is your job, Divine Feminine, to eliminate the experience of it, to eliminate the feeding of your energy to it, right? Because we give our energy to things, which is why it shows up in our life. And if we're giving our energy to people who are not reciprocating and not treating us well in return, and then we wonder why we've got people like that in our life, well, it's because you're giving your most precious currency, which is your energy and attention, to those that have not earned it. So what you guys can learn from each other is self-respect, having, boundaries. You can't make your twin flame be something that they're not. And it is not your fault, Divine Feminine, if they don't treat you well. That's not your fault. If they're not showing up in your life the way that you think they should be, that's also not your fault. That is a huge problem in the twin flame community, is Divine Feminine blaming themselves for everything that happens with their Divine Masculine, because they're the ones that are going through an awakening, and they think that if they can just do this, or they can just do that, or if they can change this, or they can change that, then they can make their Divine Masculine show up a certain way, and if they don't, then they must be failing. No, it is not a failure to say, you know what, I'm not putting up with that. And I'm cutting you off. I'm blocking you. I'm ghosting you because you're not showing up and I have boundaries. And I'm not going to give my attention to something that doesn't serve me well. And if your Divine Masculine is causing you stress and anxiety, stick up for yourself. Don't give them your attention. Okay? Don't. It's exactly what you need to do, is put yourself first, Divine Feminine. And I don't mean in a selfish way, but I mean in a purely like higher perspective kind of a way. You can't help anyone if you're drowning, right? You can't save a drowning person if you're also drowning. You have to put yourself first, Divine Feminine. Treat yourself the way you always wanted your Divine Masculine to treat you. And then maybe your Divine Masculine may suddenly start to act a little bit differently, right? Don't put the blame on them, and don't put the blame on yourself. Just recognize that something needs to change, okay? Something needs to change, which is you need to stick up for yourself and you need to treat yourself well, okay? My mom always used to tell me, you teach people how to treat you by what you do and don't put up with. My mom was absolutely right, and I think that that's even more important in the twin flame relationship and the twin flame dynamic. Okay, where can you and your Divine Masculine seek healing and recovery? It is through service to others and service to self, having an equal balance. I'm going to repeat that. An equal and harmonious balance between service to others and service to self. That is how you achieve healing and recovery, Divine Feminine. And that is how your Divine Masculine will also achieve healing and recovery. Let go of expectations of what this relationship should look like. And instead, know yourself. Pay attention to your energy. Pay attention to how you feel. Pull all that energy back in and let yourself feel it, the positive and the negative. It will reveal so much to you about who you are and where you're at. And recognize that you are the observer. Stay present as the observer and observe the thoughts, observe the feelings, observe the emotions and the vibrations that are flowing through you. And have a balance between service to self and service to others. Don't completely ignore yourself in order to serve others, but don't completely ignore others in service to yourself, right? It's so important that you have a balance between both. And also recognize that oftentimes what you're doing for others is also a service to yourself and vice versa. Okay, there's always two sides to every coin, and both sides are valuable. Both sides are valuable, but there's always two sides. Remember, duality is all around us. All around us. When we recognize that, we can collapse the duality and see the singularity within it. When the two become one, what that represents. And the two become one with everything and all things. All right, where can help be, let's see, it says, where can you and your divine masculine get help? Like, what kinds of outside resources can you get help from? So healing and recovery will come from a balance between service to self and service to others. But where is it that you can seek help and guidance, I guess, in order to achieve these things? All right. It looks like seeking information. You're not information, but information helps. Knowledge is power. The more we know, the more we can make well-rounded decisions for ourselves. And this card shows like peace after arguing, peace after chaos, right? Order out of chaos, balance after going through a period of, adversity. How you can get to this place if you're not feeling like you're there now, or if you're kind of in and then out and in and out, you're going through these like oscillations of feeling up and then down, up and then down, up and then down. Where you can go to for help with this is to seek out balanced information through many spiritual teachers and spiritual books, spiritual information. Go down that rabbit hole, because this is your spiritual journey. That's what this is. Okay, this is your journey back to the center and the truth of who you are. And it can't be found in books. It can't be found in outside sources. It's something that's found within. However, what can guide you to that place within is information, right? And information comes from all things, everything that our five senses pick up, all of our interactions, all of our experiences, they're always pointing us inward if we have wisdom to know that. And so look at these outside sources, look up information about spirituality and, read these kinds of books and seek out guidance. Don't follow it blindly, because nothing outside of you should ever be placed above you. However, you can allow it to guide you on your journey back within, and recognize that you and your connection to God, you and your connection to Source is the only thing that truly matters. Trust that above all things. All things, okay? And then, meditation and prayer. Meditation and prayer are so incredibly important, Divine Feminine. That's where all your answers are, is inside of you, and you find those answers through meditation and prayer. Outside things, again, are just things that Source and God uses in order to point us back to the truth of who we are, the center point. All right, let's do a quick oracle card for you guys. Please like and subscribe, and if you guys haven't already, we would love to have your subscription. We're a new channel, and it really, really helps us a lot. And, we want to put out a lot of great content for you. So, those likes and subscribes go a long way. You can also do a one-on-one with Cam and myself. That information is in the description box below. And let's do a quick oracle card for you. All right. So my oracle deck today is called Urban Crow Oracle. And many of you know I love ravens and crows. They have been a very significant and important part of my spiritual journey. And you may have an animal or something like that that has also been an important part of your spiritual journey. Synchronicities and guides and, signs and symbols show up for us when we're going through this transitional period in our spiritual evolution. And so If you guys have anything like that, please in the comments below. I'd love to hear your story. All right. Today we have, all right, insight. Insight. Crows and ravens are problem solvers. Crows make tools and learn from each action. In this illustration, you see the crow dropping rocks into the water. After testing a couple of rocks, the crow began to understand the relationship between the stones and the water. It learned that with each rock, the water would rise, and as a result, the buoyant shrimp would rise too. Insight asks you to take the time to examine your situation, test out different strategies to gain wisdom. When you understand the relationship between all contributing factors, you will be able to identify actions that yield little benefit or remove any obstacles that may have been in your way, and in turn apply strategies that expedite success. This is perfect card for today's reading, honestly, because that's everything that we spoke about today, is how important it is to take time to go within, look at things. Don't be afraid to look at your shadows, you guys. When you ignore your shadows, they get bigger because you're not shining the light of awareness on them. If you shine your light on a shadow, what happens? It dissipates. It can't survive in the light of your awareness. So don't be afraid to look at your shadows. They're a part of what make you the whole that you are. It's just an aspect. And if you can look at them and eliminate the ones that don't serve you well and learn the lessons that they're trying to teach you, the shadows in a weird kind of a way are your friends, you guys. They teach you the hard lessons that you need in order to let your light shine even brighter. The darkness is only there to serve the light, even when the darkness doesn't know it. I love you guys. Thank you so much for being here with me again today. I am extremely grateful for all of you and wish you all so much joy and abundance and happiness on your journeys. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.